What is up, guys, and welcome back to episode number 113 of the Career Mode. We kick this episode off. We have joined a new team. As you can see on the screen, it is Inter Milan. As at the time of recording this, after 150 votes, Inter Milan was the team that was voted the highest with 61% of the vote. There you go. So 91 votes going to Inter Milan. So a clear favourite there in terms of that one. Apologies to anybody who voted for Bayern or PSG. Those were not winning in this straw poll. It came over to Inter Milan. So today's episode, guys, we're going to be looking at the team that Inter Milan we've got here. Of course, we missed the first window of the first transfer window of the season, so we'll have to wait until January to sign any players that we want to improve this squad with. And I can tell you right now, I looked at the squad report, I've looked at everything that we need to do in terms of signing new players into the team and stuff, and I want to say there is a big problem here at Inter Milan. That problem being, they have so many players in certain positions that are just simply not needed. They have 7 goalkeepers, 7 fullbacks. You heard that correctly. 7 left backs. I think that's how many left backs they have, or it might be right backs. 7 attackers in terms of strikers. And all of those guys just simply will not get played. The maximum I like to have at any moment in terms of goalkeepers and fullbacks is 2. I only like to have 2 right backs and left backs in terms of, of course, both positions. So 4 in total fullbacks. And then 2 goalkeepers. For me, that's all you need. You don't need 7. So why on earth they've got 7, I have no idea. You can see we have a decent transfer budget here at Inter Milan as well. So you can see, I think I bump it to 240 million with a 1.7 million pound wage budget. So come January, whatever suggestions you guys have for players, hopefully we'll be able to sign them. So you can see as well, I'm showing you a squad report. There is, I mean, look at this. You'll see it coming up. We've got Sells. And my plans, I'll go through my plans in a second with the team of Inter Milan here. But I just want to reiterate at that point. I will be transfer listing a lot of these guys coming up in this episode. So, of course, you need to know which ones I've transfer listed and stuff. And there's a few strikers as well that will be leaving in January who have just joined us here in the summer. And the problem for that is I don't know why they spent the money they did when they already had a couple of decent attackers in the league. I also transfer listed Raul Jimenez, which is one of the attackers they've got here, but I took him off the transfer list in the next episode because he did quite well for me. They have this right back here who is actually he's got a game-generated face. So that gives me the impression that he's a youth player. He's 77 overall at the age of 22. The only issue is he's got a 1-star weak foot and a 1-star skill move. So that is a bit of an issue, really. I mean, you can see as well. There we go. We've got Eric Derm at left back. They already had, as you can see, I think there's 4 right backs there. Juan Jesus, Dalbert, again at left back. This guy is probably the best out of all of them and will be playing most of the games. Then they have Roussillon, another left back. Virella, another left back. And then they've got Erkin and Mingao. So they have all those left backs already, including 4 right backs. So 5 of the, in total, fullbacks will be leaving. I've transfer listed them and you'll see which ones do that. I think Erkin's actually retiring at the end of the season. Our best player here at the club currently is João Mario, 88 rated, and he's going to be vital to our success, in my opinion, in this back end of the career mode. As you can see, we already started at Leeds. We've had 6 good years there. So we're here now in Inter Milan in Italy to try and win trophies abroad and also make them into an absolute, sort of force in world football. But it's not going to be easy when you take a look at the Leeds United team that we possibly could come up against in the Champions League. Of course, we built that team with the mindset that we were going to be staying there and then in the career mode off with them. We did that. We've joined Inter Milan here. And in my opinion, once we come up against them, it will be such a tough ask. But if you want me to sign any of your players as well, guys, from the Leeds United career mode over to this one, leave your suggestions, as I said. Because, of course, although I've recorded the next few episodes of this, there's not a window yet until January. In which case, you guys have a lot of time to be able to send your suggestions. And again, we go to the strikers here and look how many strikers they have got. The one thing I do need to improve on come the January transfer window is wingers. I need a couple of wingers because I'm playing a 4-1-2-1-2, much like I was at Leeds. And so I want the wingers to be able to be stronger, really. We have 270-ish rated wingers, which aren't that great. You can see they have a Mang, actually, who is an absolute hero from the Road to Glory career mode. Has not joined us at Hartlepool because he was only on loan. But look how many strikers they've got. Simply do not need that many. So here I went into listing them all up, and you'll see the players that I've listed up. It is a bit sped up here because I wanted to show you guys in detail. So as you can see, all of the goalkeepers barring Bardi and, of course, Sells are listed for transfer. I kept the centre-backs here as well because we've only got 3 at the moment. And the beauty about this is I also kept hold of Juan Jesus because Juan Jesus can play at centre-back anyway. So I thought, you know what? If we need him, Jesus is there at centre-back, so I'll keep hold of him. I listed Eric Derm, I listed Miangu, and I listed Roussillon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing them right, guys, but at the end of the day, the transfer listed anyway, so the possibility is they're leaving us here at the end of the season. Santon also listed. Banega was listed as well. And I think I kept hold of another right back there as well. I can't quite remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure I kept hold of another one. And you can just see me going through and listing all the players that I was not interested in keeping here at Inter Milan, because at the end of the day, I've got to be ruthless. We have over £200 million in the budget, but not only that, you can see I have 47 out of the 52 squad slots used up basically. So I only have space for 5 more players to come in, which means I have to be ruthless. I want to get a lot of signings done in January, in which case I have to get rid of a load of players. But at the same time, I don't want to make a lot of signings in January because of the simple fact that it can disrupt the team sort of harmony. But at the same time, I don't want to be ending the season off with £200 million in the transfer budget, because that would be stupid of me to do. And as the board have set me here, I showed you at the start, the board actually are not bothered about profit. They're not bothered about youth. The only thing they care about is winning trophies. So by all stretch of the imagination, this club will be perfect for me. We won trophies at Leeds, of course, and I was a bit annoyed with the board for giving my manager rating so low in terms of that one, just down to the fact of the youth development programme. But the fact of the matter is, with Inter only wanting us to win trophies, this is potentially the club to be at, because I won trophies across the board at Leeds. They want me to win the Italian Cup thing. I don't know what it's called. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. They want me to win Calcio 8, and they want me to reach the semis of the Champions League. All those, in my opinion, is possible. Maybe not this season, but of course long term, they are all possible. And then I started to touch the custom tactics. Now, I have been asked previously to show you what my tactics are at Leeds. I didn't have them. I left them default, but I thought, you know what? With a new club comes new ambitions, new goals. Maybe I should try something out, and in which case, I tried, and I set some new tactics to see what the team had and how it played with them. It was good. You're going to see it later on in the episode. It was decent. I mean, I've never really touched this before. I don't know what I did there. It literally just, I saw numbers and was like, you know what, I'm going to bump these to this. I had no plan going into the custom tactics at all. I just did that and was like, we'll see how it plays. Because as I say, I have no idea what the custom tactics even do in this game. I thought I'd just use them just to check them out and see what I could do with them. So that was what I did there. We went into this first game here as well, kicking it off instantly with some gameplay at Inter Milan, of course, on Legendary difficulty as per usual. I'll show you the sliders in this one. I forgot to show you the sliders for the next game coming up, which is in the Champions League against Wolfsburg, but it was, of course, all the same as this one. And as always, guys, if you are enjoying the episode, and if you do enjoy this career mode, then I'd appreciate if you could hit that like rating. You guys are absolutely incredible. We had over 100 likes on the last episode, which was the voting episode. As I mentioned as well, I apologise to anybody who didn't want to see Inter Milan, but as this won the majority of the votes, there you go, guys. We are having an Inter Milan back end of the career. And this may not be our last club either, guys. You've got to remember that. We could have possibly moved on again here in this career mode. But as you can see, Inter Milan is the next stop on our journey, and it's where we want to be winning trophies. And it's weird because I forgot that Inter Milan and AC Milan share the same ground. So effectively, whenever we're playing away against Inter Milan, or against AC Milan, sorry, we'll be playing at home still, which is a weird concept. But I like the fact that they've done that. And also, the commentators even pick up on game, so that's pretty good as well. But you can see here the two teams coming out, and as you can tell, this is going to be a huge game going into this one, because of course we want to get off to the best start possible. And also, I'm not really sure what my strongest team selection is, because when you go into a new team, it can be quite difficult to work out what your best players are, if you understand what I'm saying. So it can be quite difficult when you initially play a career mode. However, I've sort of got my mindset on what my best players are. I think, who is it? Raul Jimenez was actually the top scorer in the league at the moment, so I kept him in the team. I think I put Z-Turbo next to him as well, which is a really cool name, Z-Turbo. Turbo being, of course, you know, fast, and he's actually a rapid striker. I thought it was a weird coincidence, but at the end of the day, he's decent. So I've got him and Raul Jimenez up front, and then I've got João Mario just playing in behind them in that cam role. He's a bit of a weird one, João Mario, because I think he's great, but is he a cam, or where would you guys play him? Let me know in the comments, because of course his default set is a right mid, but I deployed him in that cam role just to give him CM and see what he could do. And the thing is, guys, he scored the opening goal in this one, and he was absolutely sensational in that position. Zturbo getting the ball here, gives it off to Donsa, who's incredible in that CDM role. But as I mentioned, guys, for me, you need a big CDM when you're playing games in FIFA. You need somebody who can be an absolute rock at CDM. That's a great finish, by the way, by João Mario there to get us off to the perfect start. I mentioned how important he will be to us in the series. But yeah, you need a big CDM to really get you going in games. And for me, personally, although Donsa is very good in that, you know, sort of centre mid role, because he's only 5'9", and, you know, this is weird because we actually had Kante, who was quite short as well at Leeds. Although he's 5'9", he's actually not got the greatest weak foot and skill moves. And of course, we have the likelihood that we possibly could go in for Will Jackson from Leeds. If you remember, we recalled him. He played a lot of games for us in the final back end of the season, of our Leeds career. And one of you guys asked me in the previous, or last season, I think it was, to take him to wherever I move to. So, if we do go, in fact, in for Will Jackson, I will be forced to sell Donsa. And the reason being is because I can't deploy him as a cam. And if I get Will Jackson, he never got injured at Leeds. I think I probably need to switch the team around, but I may keep hold of Donsa for the rest of this season and see what he can do. And I may obviously switch the formation. So for right now, he will be staying in the January transfer window. There's no chance he will leave us in January. He will stay here till the end of the season. But in terms of a CDM, he is not my long-term choice. I am looking at bringing in a CDM, whether that'll be Will Jackson or somebody else entirely. We'll have to wait and see. But ultimately, I do want a big CDM to come here to Inter Milan. I think it'll be vital we get one, and the sooner we get one, possibly in January, the better. Because if I can get Will Jackson in January, and it's the price is sort of a fee that I'm, sort of happy to pay to Leeds, then possibly I will go for him. I mean, the thing is, they've got Dendoncker and they've got Kante already, have Leeds, so the possibility of signing him is quite high because, of course, they've already got two centre defensive midfielders who, in terms of rating, are higher than him. So he could be knocked down the pecking order. But the question is, will the Leeds United manager who's gone in there play him, or will he not? It's, sort of one of those things. I mean, if he goes on rating, he won't play him. In which case, he might be an easy signing for us. You can see there we picked up 3 points as well and won our first game by 2-0, which is a decent way to start. And as I mentioned, guys, keep leaving suggestions because I want to know what you guys are saying in terms of signings for January. We have £200 million to spend here, so make sure that I could possibly sign anyone you wanted me to. So make sure your suggestions are left down in the comments below. Let me know as well if you want me to bring anybody over from Leeds. As I mentioned, Will Jackson's name was in there. A couple of times I've seen Joel Green's name being in there. Lou possibly as well, 92 rated, of course, as a goalkeeper. Could be an interesting one. He's only 20 years of age, and we could take him over to Inter Milan with us. Right now, we've got Sells, but Sells is doing quite well for me, in all honesty. Like, he's had a couple of issues in this one already, in terms of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to save chances. I'll just go with that. I mean, I've recorded this episode and the next one, so of course you'll see the gameplay from the next one, and he does make a few good saves in that. So in all honesty, in terms of a keeper, Sells may not be one to get rid of. I may keep him here just for however long I'm here. But the other one, the backup keeper, we could get rid of and we could bring in Lou. So as I said, leave me what you want me to do in the comments down below and I'll take a look at them. Patrick Rose is a possibility from Leeds. He didn't play all that much for us in the series before, but he is 85 rated. Could be a good signing for us. He's still very young as well. Players to watch, João Mario and Julian Draxler. Of course, it's going to be those two guys. Draxler heading to PSG in real life, so he will be playing in the French league. We, of course, could have gone to PSG in this save, but you guys chose instead to go to Inter Milan, and I'm completely fine with that one. Happy to do whichever one you guys have suggested. There was a couple of other teams in there as well that I could have given you guys to vote on, being the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid, but I did not want to go to either of those guys because they have already great teams. I wanted to go to a team that needed that little bit of magic and needed a little bit of improvement once we went there, and the fact that we've come to Inter Milan, I personally see the fact that there is a lot of improvement to be made to this team. There's still so much I want to do. For example, our defence needs improving a little bit, in my opinion. Our right back, yes, he's good, but one-star weak foot, one-star skill moves. I can think of a lot of other players that I would rather have in there. Possibly Miguel de Mosquites. Remember him from Leeds United back in the day. He could be a good signing for us. He took the lead in this one against Wolfsburg as well in our first Champions League game as Inter Milan manager in the 27th minute. One of the strikers that I've actually looking to get rid of in January, who I can't transfer list yet because he's just joined the club, ends up getting us off with a goal here. Fantastic little move. Strikes one goalwards and makes it into the bottom corner just in time past the goalkeeper. But honestly, guys, as soon as this went in, Wolfsburg came out flying. They really wanted something out of the game here. After this goal went in, there was literally nothing else for us to have in the way of attacks. It was completely all Wolfsburg, and they really did show that I do have to improve a little bit more in terms of how I play. Because, of course, at Leeds United, I had a team in which I could make mistakes, and those mistakes wouldn't be punished because we had such a good team to redeem my mistake in a sense. Whereas this time round, our team's nowhere near the likes of Leeds United's quality. Therefore, any mistakes I make will be punished, and I can't afford to make too many in a game. For example, the stuff like this, throwing it out very short, almost was penalised by Draxler, or not Draxler, sorry, Gerhard there. He had a strike off the post. It really should have been 1-1, a fantastic volley, and that came from a mistake by me, so I can't be affording to make too many mistakes at this point now. Of course, I've got used to it with Leeds United career mode. If I make a mistake, the chances are it's going to be redeemed by my players, and I can't afford to have that happen. Here, I get absolutely sat with Murillo there. They take the strike on with Draxler, and this one does in fact come off the post as well. So twice in the space of a few minutes in game, Draxler hit the post and then forces Sells into a phenomenal save to keep the score at 1-0. It could have easily been 1-1 this game, but thankfully, through the goalkeeper and through the goalpost, did we manage to hold on, and we did just that. Fantastic save again from Sells, holding on to the ball this time. That was the stroke of half-time. We went in at half-time 1-0, and the full game result ended up 1-0 as well. You see it in the coming seconds here, but as I mentioned, I do not want to be making too many mistakes in this, because if I make mistakes, it's going to come back and cost me. But I can't wait, guys, for the first window of the season. That January transfer window with £200 million to spend is going to be absolutely sensational. So as I said, leave your comments, leave what you want me to do in terms of signing players. I can't wait. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy the remainder of this career mode series, and hopefully as well, you guys will suggest some absolute beastly players to bring in January. You can see as well, I think PSG and Basel are the other teams in our group. They drew 1-1 there, so not too bad a result for us. In terms of that one, it keeps us top of the group on 6 points, so that's pretty decent as well. 2 victories so far from our first 2 games as Inter Milan manager. I could have asked for really anything more, could I? Let's face it. But you can see as well, I want to make one other point before the episode ends off. The fact that they have so many strikers around the 80 rating mark, Why did they not just have 2 strikers around the 80 rating mark and then sign 1 absolute beast? It would make more sense, wouldn't it? I mean, for me it would anyways. I don't know why you'd sign that many players and not have, like, you know, a really good striker anyway. But as always, guys, if you've enjoyed this episode of the Career Mode, I'd appreciate if you could hit that like rating. If we could hit 50 likes on today's video, that would be greatly appreciated. You guys are incredible. The support you show on the channel is absolutely mental. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later with another video very soon. Adios.